Mr. Herlin, how do you lose weight? Mr. Herlin, how do you gain muscle? These are common questions that I get on a regular basis from friends and from students. So I want to give you some ideas on visualizing how to reach these goals that you have. It's easy to write down a goal, but finding motivation can be really hard. It's hard to do things differently than those people around you and trying to improve yourself. So making some type of visual, understanding the concept of what you're trying to do is helpful in this. Gaining or losing muscle or fat is not that tricky. The hardest part is being disciplined, having consistency, and sticking to it. First, let's look at 5 pounds of fat. Okay, this model here is what 5 pounds of body fat looks like. Okay, it is not that hard to eat a little bit of extra food every day to accidentally gain this 5 pounds in 5 weeks. Now think about that, visualize that. This amount of fat would be spread out over your body. So, we could think about it on our belly, we could think about it in our chest, we could think about it in our arms. It's spread out all over our body, but that is a lot of extra body fat that, quite honestly, it's not that hard to gain if we become a little bit sedentary and just eat a little bit more. Now on the opposite side, let's say we're trying to lose this 5 pounds of body fat. Okay? It's actually quite simple. Besides doing your normal exercise, your normal movement, all we have to do is look at what is our body burning? What is our basic metabolism or our basal metabolic rate? How many calories are we burning a day with our exercise? Average person, they say, is 2,000. If you're smaller than the average person, it's going to be less. We figure out what that is, and then we just eat about 5 to 10% less. We're talking maybe 1 to 200 calories less a day. We're talking maybe a Mountain Dew less, a half a portion less of what you normally eat. You do that for 5 weeks, and boom, you could lose that 5 pounds if you have it on your body to lose in the first place. Opposite of fat is muscle, right? That's a lot harder question to address, but we'll do it. So now we're going to ignore the fat aspect. I think it's easier to focus on one or the other. So we're going to ignore the fat one right now. We're going to talk about muscle. This is ground beef, but ground beef, this is about 90% ground beef. There's a little bit of fat in it, but this is about a pound of muscle, right, from beef. So how do we gain this muscle in that same 5-week time period? Let's visualize that for a second. This is 5 pounds of muscle. You could put on 5 pounds of muscle in 5 to 6 weeks. That's a lot of muscle. Imagine Mr. Herlin with this much muscle added onto his body. Imagine you with this much muscle added onto your body. How do you do it? How do you gain this kind of muscle in that time frame? Let's go back to the calories. What your body is burning. If you're trying to gain muscle, you have to eat more than what your body's burning. What is that basic amount of calories you're burning with exercise? And you have to eat more. If you don't eat more, you can't gain the muscle. That's the biggest key number one step. Next step, you got to lift at least 3 days a week for 30 to 60 minutes. It has to be some resistance training. Okay, another step, sets 2, sets 3 of your lifting have to go till failure, meaning your muscles actually fail. Therefore, the muscles are ripping completely apart. You're getting failure. Next step, you got to have rest. There's 2 parts of rest with this. Your body takes about 5 to 7 days to fully recover a muscle group. Right? So we typically lift every other day, giving that rest and hitting different muscle groups on different days. Okay? And then the other rest is sleeping. You got to sleep to grow. Right? Think about a baby. Babies grow really fast. On a weekly basis, you can see a baby grow. Babies sleep all the time. Right? So our bodies, if we want to grow, we have to sleep. So if we're trying to focus, again, I think focusing either let's gain muscle or let's gain or lose fat, whatever your goals are, you got to break it down and think about the calories in, calories out, what type of exercise are you doing. The purpose of this conversation is not to encourage any type of eating disorder or diet. All we're looking at is adding or subtracting 1 to 200 calories from your meal plan. Right? What you normally eat, adding, subtracting that. It's got to be healthy food, right? If we want to see some improvements. But we're not encouraging eating disorders. We're encouraging positive ways of adjusting our body as we train to improve ourselves. I hope this helps you get some visualization with your goals, and I hope it motivates you for the next 5 weeks. What can you do with your body in a safe and healthy way?